What if the more experiences you did where your Venus sign is in, which house it's in, what if that attracted more abundance? And I don't just mean money, but experiences, people. What if that was the key? You're so tired because you've been giving that to other people. I've been there. I've helped men expand. I've helped them deepen their knowledge in their career. I've helped them travel. But I didn't do that for myself. I look back on that woman and I feel angry. But not at her. I feel angry because we live in a society that tells us, especially as women, to give more. But the more you receive, and the more you receive the key parts of yourself, you know, and I don't necessarily mean receiving things from other people, which is part of it, but also like if you do more things within those experiences where your Venus is, you'll receive so much more in those things because that's where your natural magnetism lies. That's where your natural self-worth lies. And you unlock that because there's ease, because it flows. Abundance can come in. You may meet people who bring you abundance. You may meet people who bring you to this event, and in this event you meet someone and that person is literally the person who's going to give you the job of your life. You may do something you may paint. You may go to an art class because your Venus is in the 5th house. You may go to an art class, and in that art class you're sitting next to someone and you get to speaking to them, and suddenly you both want to collaborate on a piece of art, and you're like, oh, maybe we could actually do this. Your natural abundance, your natural magnetism lies in the house where your Venus is, and 9 times out of 10 you probably are giving that to your partner. You probably are giving what you want, what Venus wants, to someone else, but you might not be giving it to yourself. And there are 2 ways which you can go about this. I recommend both, but you can either look at your Venus house and see what you could do more of within that space. If you have Venus in the 12th house, you could do more dream work. You could go to a class that helps you understand your dreams more. You could go to a chakra cleansing class. You could go to a spiritual retreat. You could go and just spend solitude, and within that solitude you're doing the things that bring you back abundance. So meditating, creating a safe space for you to be able to really tap into your spiritual mysticism. And the other side is that you do shadow work to understand why you haven't been giving yourself these things. And yeah, sometimes it's quite as simple as you don't value yourself, you value others over yourself. But sometimes it could be so much deeper. sometimes you don't really know what the reason is until you dig deeper. Venus is in my 9th house, but it's also in Scorpio. So it's complex. It has the desire to expand and to learn and to have freedom in so many things, but it also craves that depth. And within that, Scorpio naturally, 8th house ruler, the shadow side of that is that it fears being vulnerable. It fears being vulnerable. You fear that you might not feel safe. You don't feel safe enough to be seen. You don't feel safe enough to trust, whether that's other people or life or money or whatever kind of within 8th house themes, which is very, very complex. I think it was my first video here where I said, like, 8th house, absolutely love the 8th house. But I feel like it's a bit misunderstood when people say like shared finances and things like that. It's so deep. It's like the epitome of death and rebirth, the epitome of like the underworld for me. You have to ask yourself questions to get to the root of the reason why you don't do certain things. So if you have Venus in the 2nd house, it's in its natural house, but the shadow side of Venus in the 2nd house is that you will tie your possessions to your worth. You will tie how much money you make to your worth. But knowing that your worth is separate, knowing that your worth is there regardless of how much money you make or how many things you have, you have to ask yourself, who am I trying to prove to? Who am I trying to prove my worth to? Is it you? Is it someone in your family? Is it the world? And why? And ultimately, most of the time, it will be because you don't love yourself enough. You don't feel seen by the people around you. So the only way you can be seen is by having more, earning more. And then finally, someone in your life will see you, but not for the right reasons. They won't love your soul. They'll just see how much you make or what car you're driving. Venus in the 7th house is very much the same as I created another video, which was talking about your identity, and I was saying like 7th house, 1st house energy, like you will lose yourself in other people sometimes. Venus in the 7th house is, where have you been tying your worth onto others? Where have you been seeking validation from others rather than yourself? And there are aspects to this. So if you have harsh aspects to your Venus, it adds so much more complexities to your story. If you have Venus in the 10th house, you most likely attach your worth to your status and to your career. If you haven't been promoted, you it really deeply attacks your worth, your self-worth. But like, the beauty of astrology is that it's not hard to figure out what your healing is. You just have to look at the opposites of those. So within your chart, where your house is, do more of what that house is about. Do more of it. And it's easier with certain other houses, because like ninth house, you could be like, oh, I could go travel, or I can go deep into learning something, or I can tap into my spirituality. If it's in the 12th house, it's a lot of solitude, most likely, so that's harder. But romanticize it. If you can afford to book a cabin in the middle of a forest, bring books about like the things that you would love to learn, meditate in nature, bring yourself back to the earth, surround yourself with the abundance of the universe, and it will just like recharge that energy. And then, you know, how can you do that every day? How can you bring that into your daily life? And it could just be really small things. Stop giving other people your love language before you give it to yourself. Give it to yourself first. If you have Venus in the 6th house, book yourself some time off. Go to a spa. Do a face mask at home. Have a bath. Have those rituals that bring you back to serving yourself before you serve others. And naturally, you just start to tap into that healing. And you'll just feel really good. The best times I've ever felt in terms of just feeling like I'm magnetic is when I'm doing the things that are in my 9th house energy. Like, that is when I'm like, oh God, I just feel really good. And the sign does add some aspects to that. You know, I can't just go to a holiday and go to bars and like go crazy, but I can go to cathedrals and go to museums and explore like the ancestral roots of things. I genuinely adore that, and I love it, and it makes me feel brighter. So if you want more help on this and you want it to be a bit easier for you, then I have a course down below which is called the Magnetic One. It is a baby of the Wealth Rebirth. The Wealth Rebirth has more Venus content in there. However, the Magnetic One still has, you know, all the prompts in the houses where your Venus placement is, and then it has second house signs with prompts. The Wealth Rebirth has Venus in the houses and the signs, as well as embodiment practices and the way that you could treat yourself with your own Venus house love language. All the links are below for that. Whichever one feels most cool to you and makes your body excited, then yeah, the links are below. I want you to comment below your Venus house, and let's see if any of us have the same Venus houses, and let's share our expertise. Let's share how we love ourselves, how we pour into ourselves, and hopefully people, including myself, can learn new things and understand that Venus placement a lot deeper. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.